Mohan stands with a confident look, prepared for what lies ahead. His mind resonates with the challenge ahead in the royal hunting grounds. He regards the coming event with boldness. Two masked assassins with swords raised abruptly cut into the scene, demanding surrender, leaving Mohan unperturbed by their threats. Holding CXI tightly, Mohan instructs her to keep her eyes closed, ensuring her safety amid the impending conflict, while tension fills the air. As swords clash, CXI remains wrapped in Mohan's protection, questioning the situation full of assassins, pondering the absence of the male lead here to face them all. The lead assassin expresses surprise at Mohan's martial skills, realizing they have underestimated his ability, acknowledging his prowess unexpectedly. Another assassin charges with doubled swords, intent on proving his threat to Mohan, revealing the determination in their attack strategies. Mohan assesses the situation, remarking on the uncertainty of the assassins' positions, contemplating the best approach in this encounter. Defeated, an assassin kneels, pleading for his life, a sudden shift in demeanor from aggression to vulnerability, facing Mohan. Mohan reflects on the nature of life and death, noting his usual indifference towards those who cling to life in fear. CXI looks up, curious about why Mohan isn't pursuing the fleeing assassins, her innocence contrasting the harshness of their situation. Observing from a distance, Mohan and CXI notice hidden secret guards, hinting at additional layers of protection and surprise allies watching over them. CXI processes the revelation of secret guards, presumably offering reassurance amidst hidden dangers, adding layers to the unfolding narrative. She contemplates their delayed appearance, wondering about their strategy and possibly critiquing their timing during such a critical juncture. Mohan senses something unusual, a strange smell that catches his attention, stirring curiosity and slight concern about the source. Mohan asks CXI if she notices the scent, together attempting to identify it as hints of fragrance fill the air, possibly indicating a new development. CXI realizes the scent comes from incense linked to the assassins, momentarily ambiguous before clarity forms, shedding light on a trap or ploy unfolding. A masked figure emerges, familiarly addressing Mohan as his nephew, hinting at a complex family dynamic brewing beneath the encounter. Mohan internally questions the release of his uncle, concerned by the implications of this new player entering the confrontation unexpectedly. Pointing an accusatory finger, Mohan dismisses his uncle's presence as another bout of illness, characterizing it as a recurring issue amidst their family ties. The masked uncle counters harshly, denying any illness, signaling a divergence in perspectives and hinting at deeper unresolved conflicts. He rushes forward, intent on claiming Mohan's life, a climax of intent signaled by the weapons they both wield against each other. Taunting Mohan, the uncle challenges him to fight back, adding tension to their encounter as they face off amidst the forest's serene backdrop. With a sharp retort, Mohan questions his uncle's concern over CXI, undermining his taunt and turning the conversation back onto their shared priorities. The uncle seizes on Mohan's perceived weakness, claiming it as leverage for his attack on this day, underscoring the personal stakes in their conflict. Unleashing a shuriken, the uncle proclaims it will accompany Mohan in death, adding a physical threat to his foreboding words. His regret fades as he reveals the poison within the dart, foreshadowing its grim journey through Mohan's body should it find its mark. Holding CXI close, Mohan contemplates ending this threat sooner, realizing the battle reflects a personal struggle beyond mere survival. The uncle mocks Mohan's feelings, asserting that an emperor shouldn't fall victim to emotions, reinforcing their differing beliefs about leadership and power. He attributes Mohan's downfall to his gentleness, suggesting vulnerability and softness, a stark criticism of what his emotions have supposedly wrought. The uncle gloats over Mohan's fate, declaring CXI's presence as an unwanted companion to his impending death, a final taunt layered with malice. Kiki sits next to her father, feeling cold and sleepy as the night deepens around them. The smell of blood lingers in the air, causing Kiki to worry about their situation. Kiki, concerned, asks her father what is wrong, noticing the shuriken in his shoulder. Kiki is held by her father as she processes the unfolding events, questioning the situation in her mind. She wonders anxiously if her father is still alive, touching his face gently. Relieved, Kiki realizes her father is still breathing, holding on to hope. Reflecting on the events, Kiki connects the smell of blood and poison to the attack by assassins. She reassures her father silently, hoping to instill courage in both of them. Kiki promises to protect her father until the Imperial Guards arrive, displaying determination. Observing the darkened blood from the wound, Kiki realizes the darts are poisoned and wonders about a solution. She contemplates removing the dart, fearing the poison might spread before help arrives. Kiki is overjoyed and emotional as she sees her father waking up. Her father calmly reassures her that he is still alive, trying to lift her spirits. He urges Kiki not to be afraid and to help him by pulling out the dart. Her father encourages her to be brave, reminding her of their bond. Kiki offers her arm for him to bite if pulling the dart causes too much pain. They sit together, her father indicating the arm plan again, while Kiki insists it doesn't hurt. Realizing the severity, Kiki considers sucking the poison out to aid his recovery. Her father cautions against removing the poison directly due to its toxicity, suggesting waiting until daylight. Kiki insists she will endure the pain, determined to help quickly. Preparing for surgery, Kiki decides to gather firewood to keep them warm through the night. Alone with her father, Kiki contemplates her responsibility to care for him, encouraging herself not to be afraid. Surveying the remote area, Kiki reassures herself there are no wolves, trying to stay calm. Her fears peak as she imagines wolves might be nearby, retreating back inside. Her father gently asks if she is scared, noticing her hesitation. Kiki confesses her fear of the dark, admitting she lacks the courage to gather firewood. Her father points out dry firewood in the corner of the cave, prompting her to notice it. Kiki wonders how the firewood got there, suspecting it might have been intentionally placed. Her father recalls seeing it earlier, suggesting it might be a temporary shelter of a hunter. Kiki finds flints among the firewood, preparing to start a fire and ensure their safety overnight. Imohan observes Kiki attempting to use flints. Despite her struggles, he tells her she isn't too stupid for recognizing them. Imohan recalls how she, being a royal family member, never learned mundane tasks like cooking and making fire. Imohan offers to teach Kiki, who utters an exclamation as she clumsily handles the flints under his guidance. Kiki expresses warmth from the fire, looking delighted with her achievement. Kiki questions how her father knows these survival skills, despite being privileged. Imohan explains that the inheritance of the royal title requires fighting, not just receiving it. He further details the struggles involved in claiming the throne, mentioning battles with other princes. Sensing Kiki's hunger, Imohan directs her to a food stash in the cave, suggesting she check it out. Kiki eagerly heads toward the mentioned stash, wondering about the food. Overjoyed, Kiki discovers a basket of sweet potatoes, thrilled by the find. Imohan reassures her that they can roast sweet potatoes to avoid starvation, though he dismisses the notion as unlikely. He assures Kiki that he wouldn't let her starve, regardless of the circumstances. Kiki thinks about the contrast between Imohan's gentle side and his tyrannical reputation. Imohan reminds Kiki to focus on the potatoes, warning they'll burn if left unattended. Kiki clutches her hands, intent on monitoring the roasting process with determination. Imohan appreciates the warmth Kiki brings to his life, indicating she alleviates his pain. A search party updates a prince about their findings, revealing only a piece of the king's clothing at the cliff's edge. The soldier expresses fear concerning the fate of His Majesty and the princess. The prince sternly warns against speaking negative possibilities, threatening dire consequences. He orders the search to continue, believing in divine intervention to aid the royal survival. One member points out the futile search efforts around the cliff area, questioning their next move. Another insists on searching below the cliff, contemplating the grim fall. Doubt arises about their survival chances if they truly fell from such a height. Despite the uncertainty, there is a belief in hope and life, holding on to optimism. The searcher reassures herself of Kiki's likely survival, determined to remain hopeful. The view shifts to the Ninth Prince's tent, nestled in a quiet, shadowy area. Guards inform the Ninth Prince about ongoing search efforts and invite him to rest, emphasizing not to worry. The Ninth Prince, expressing defiance, questions who would dare give him orders, dismissing the guards. Another figure reassures that they wouldn't dare impose orders on the Ninth Prince. They assure the Ninth Prince of the loyalty of his guards, promising discretion about their relationship. Imohan and Tin are in a dimly lit room. Imohan insists there's no relationship, asking Tin if he can find his brother in someone else. Tin confidently assures Imohan that he wouldn't dare visit him without any clues. He reports on the search for Imohan's brother and the seventh princess on the cliff in the west. Imohan looks surprised, processing the information about the cliff and what's entailed. Tin reassures Mohan not to worry. He mentions footprints on the cliff, implying the fall was intentional, but Mohan need not worry about His Majesty's capability. Tin explains that several people have been sent down the cliff for the search. He questions about the clues related to the assassin. Tin reflects on interrogating the unconscious assassins at the scene. They only mention smelling something before losing consciousness. He comments on the boxes belonging to the assassins. Mohan compares finding the murderer to searching for a needle in a haystack, expressing skepticism. Mohan suspects a conspiracy to usurp the throne, implying the assassination was premeditated. Tin praises Mohan's intelligence, suggesting he figured out the plot. Mohan warns Tin about standing too close, prompting a light-hearted moment. Tin suggests it's late and hints at leaving, but Mohan interrupts him. Tin expresses a desire to linger, requesting to stay a bit longer, while Mohan expresses slight disapproval. Tin observes Mohan's anxiety, addressing the tension in the room. Tin inquires if Mohan's worries stem from his brother or another issue. Mohan dismisses it as none of Tin's business. Tin mentions that he won't press further about the girl if Mohan is more concerned about his brother. Mohan reacts strongly. A voice off-screen informs about news regarding His Majesty and the 7th princess. The scene shifts to a grove where Dabai kneels before Mohan, apologizing for the delay in saving His Majesty. Tin, in a different attire, addresses Mohan, referring to him as father and suggesting leaving someone to him. Mohan, carrying a young child, reflects on a past mistake related to Concubine Day and seeks acknowledgement from Tin. Tin questions his mother's actions, indicating a level of confusion. Tin, with a determined look, insists on remembering his mother due to the enduring bond of family. Mohan reveals that Concubine D remains ill despite continuous medication. Mohan emphasizes the severity of Concubine D's illness, questioning Tin's apparent lack of concern for her. Tin stresses his equal worry for both his mother and Mohan's family, expressing unease over their disconnection. Mohan agrees to let Tin visit Jingbei to take care of his mother, revealing the emperor's intentions. Mohan advises departing secretly and without informing anyone else. Tin, dressed for travel, acknowledges the necessity of leaving, though with some reluctance. Tin reflects on the importance of memories, contemplating the time until reunion. As Tin departs, a servant kneels, stating the king's command for immediate departure to Jingbei. Tin looks back, hoping for future recognition and not to be forgotten before a final departure. Mohan addresses the situation, asking if they need to investigate the day's assassin incident. The setting sun casts an orange hue over the scene. Tin, relaxed and bandaged, states there's no need for further investigation, turning slightly to the person behind him who is treating his wounds. Mohan questions the conclusion, noting that the identity of the assassin seems already known. In a moment of realization, Mohan wonders if a particular individual might be involved, expressing concern quietly. Mohan decides to break the formation and increase surveillance, mentioning another pressing matter that needs attention, looking back towards Tin. Tin discusses a recent event involving the 6th prince's trip to Jingbei, emphasizing the need for discreet observation and immediate reporting of anything unusual. Mohan expresses suspicion about the events and the people involved, forming a strategy in response to the unfolding circumstances. Reflecting on the situation, Tin admits to a growing suspicion and mentions mistakes pointing towards the possibility of the queen's side being involved. The next day dawns bright and clear, marked by a sense of anticipation in the air. Inside the palace, the princess awakens, and another character inquires why Sister Awan has arrived at such an early hour. Sister Awan explains her visit, mentioning the spread of rumors about the king's encounter with the assassin and how it caused fear among the servants. Awan advises the princess Yuling about having company, highlighting Yuling's need for care and support. Reflecting on the past, Awan confesses her perceived shortcomings and the resulting difficulties for Yuling, gently attending to her. Yuling reassures Awan that she was well taken care of, dismissing any need for concern about her well-being. Awan notes Yuling's positive outlook and remarks on her habit of speaking kindly, pondering aloud. Awan shares news about the 6th prince's mother and his urgent departure for Jingbei, which captures Yuling's attention. Yuling contemplates the distance to Jingbei, pondering the implications of the journey. Awan explains that Defei's worsening condition prompted the 6th prince's departure, illustrating the prince's worry and his hurried journey. Yuling considers the prince's emotions, understanding his concern for his mother. Yuling reflects on familial bonds but questions her own feelings, sensing an emptiness despite knowing the circumstances. She wonders about receiving letters from the prince during his absence, seeking reassurance on their connection. Yuling earnestly asks Sister A1 whether the prince will keep writing to her, showing her vulnerability. A1 comforts Yuling, affirming that the prince will definitely send letters and always keep her in mind. Resolving to wait, Yuling promises to remain patient, no matter the distance or time that keeps them apart. Another sister abruptly enters with excitement, hinting at the interesting things she has brought along. Sensing the somber mood, the newcomer quizzes the others about the apparent tension in the room. Yuling, maintaining her composure, lightly asks about the new things that were brought, focusing on changing the subject. The newcomer offers a mysterious bottle, prompting curiosity and surprise. A playful exchange ensues, with the newcomer jostling to ensure she's left with a share of whatever's in the bottle, adding a lighter tone. Observing Yuling's introspection, A1 comments on her thoughtful nature, suggesting a visit to the palace might uplift her spirits. Imakshuen and Yi-Ting stand together, observing the view. Imakshuen seems contemplative about unspoken feelings, while Yi-Ting listens intently, focusing on their surroundings. Yi-Ting walks alone beneath cherry blossoms, reflecting on whether someone will return. Thoughts of longing fill her mind as she hopes for a reunion. The vibrant palace scene suggests memories of waiting. Yi-Ting recalls 3 years of expecting someone's return, portraying a deep sense of yearning in the serene landscape. Yi-Ting, in a red dress, walks through the courtyard, pondering whether she will receive a letter as spring fades, concern etched into her mind. A soldier on horseback converses with Yi-Ting, stating it's unlikely to receive a personal letter among urgent military dispatches. Yi-Ting ponders the improbability. Yi-Ting feels forgotten, enveloped in a blossoming garden. Though surrounded by beauty, her thoughts linger on being overlooked by someone important. Yi-Ting looks up at an autumn tree, reminiscing on birthdays past where gifts felt hollow. Her wish is for someone meaningful to acknowledge her special day. Lying among autumn leaves, Yi-Ting waits in vain, clutching a small glass bottle. She reflects on waiting patiently for someone that never arrives. Standing amidst snow-covered trees, Yi-Ting recalls academic achievements and political situations at court, mentioning rumors about the throne, yet feeling distant about it all. Yi-Ting considers her improved handwriting and wonders about her unanswered letters to Jing Bai, thoughts of effort and longing in her heart. Doubts creep in as Yi-Ting wonders why Jing Bai hasn't replied if he's read her letters, questioning everything she's done to reach out. Yi-Ting tries to convince herself it's better if Jing Bai forgot her, while holding a hexagonal box as snow gently falls around her. A snowy landscape symbolizes the separate lives Yi-Ting and the one she misses now lead, emphasizing peaceful acceptance amidst longing. The governor's mansion in Jing Bai is introduced, setting a new scene where important discussions seem about to unfold. And Zishu teases Yan Chao about receiving another letter from the girl in his heart. The jovial mood contrasts the serious undertone of unresponded letters. And Zishu persistently jokes about Yan Chao's lack of responses to many letters, playfully pushing him to explain himself. Yan Chao handles a letter, casually dismissing and Zishu's suggestion to respond, maintaining a stoic demeanor while brushing off the advice. And Zishu offers to read the letter himself, but Yan Chao, with a firm no, indicates his persistent unwillingness to engage with the letters. And Zishu humorously suggests that Yan Chao is only hard-hearted while teasing him about being soft otherwise, intensifying Yan Chao's resolve. The dialogue reveals Yan Chao's secretive visits to her over the years, questioning why he keeps her unaware of his emotions, hinting at hidden feelings. Contemplating the impact of false hopes, Yan Chao acknowledges the weight of expectations when he's not ready to face them, prioritizing others' feelings. A softer side of Yan Chao emerges as he smiles, suggesting hopeful thoughts about meeting her soon, showing a rare moment of gentle resolve. A celebratory message for little play sets a cheerful tone. The setting shifts to Huaiyang Palace, indicating a festive atmosphere. Kiki has her hair patted by a friend who empathizes with her sadness over unreciprocated feelings, assuring her of being missed as she ponders over her unvoiced sentiments. Kiki's friend insists Jing Bai is busy and offers consoling reasons for the missing birthday wish, trying to ease her heartbroken feelings. Anger intensifies as Kiki's friend advises her to think wisely, not wanting to see Kiki upset over someone who hasn't reciprocated her devotion. Kiki is seen crying, yet comforted with a gentle gesture as someone wipes her tears, a silent promise not to let her cry alone anymore. Kiki is advised to stop drinking, revealing she uses dreams to cope with unspoken longing, reinforcing her state of vulnerability. The image portrays a complex emotion as Kiki confesses drinking helps her dream of someone. The presence of someone who knows this signifies a silent connection. In a touching moment, a person embraces Kiki under falling cherry blossoms, offering solace and shared understanding without the need for words, capturing warmth and empathy. Mohan and Kiki are together. Mohan acknowledges how real the dream feels and invites Kiki to touch more, as reality mixes with dreams in their mind. Kiki feels regretful, explaining how she couldn't find Mohan after waking up, taking blame upon herself for the situation. Mohan reassures Kiki that they will meet again, emphasizing the proximity of that day while they both stand under a cherry blossom tree. Under the pink sky, Mohan gently celebrates Kiki's birthday, calling her his little princess as they share a moment of tenderness. A character speaks cheerfully about acquiring supplies of soldiers and horses, ensuring there's no worry about military food this year. Another discussion continues about training soldiers, with an acknowledgement of Yan Cheng's intelligence at a nearby table. They praise Crown Prince Xing's strategic abilities in battle formation at a young age, as the conversation flows around his talent. Mohan talks candidly about his trust in the other's abilities but reveals impatience to achieve great things quickly, warned to be patient. The conversation shifts to 3 years ago when Mohan intended to go to Jingbai, the past unveiling like layers before them. With sharp eyes, Mohan questions the knowledge of his intentions about Jingbai, underlining his curiosity. His companion lightly accuses him of always planning each step, suggesting the events 3 years ago were part of his scheme. Walking together, one confesses to revealing plans to the king, leading to a revelation about a banishment to Jingbai. The person reflects on how the girl depended on Mohan, hinting at curiosity about his ability to leave her behind. Mohan seems puzzled by the idea of reliance, questioning what it means as he processes the information silently. His companion explains that given the girl's young mind, seeing him as a brother allowed her natural reliance. Mohan counters with his own observation about her intelligence, delivering his statement with a sense of pride. Faced with Mohan's resolve, the companion concedes, acknowledging they might be wrong with a gentle jest. The conversation playfully turns to the girl's growth, noting how children change quickly, with Mohan agreeing thoughtfully. Mohan, dismissing inquiry into his correspondence, is silently critiqued for not responding to letters, which may cause hurt. Both raise the possibility of her forgetting him, referencing the complexity of the palace and other influences. Mohan issues a warning against further talk, humor laced in his voice as he threatens withholding dinner for any more chatter. A soldier approaches with a monthly military report, addressing Mohan formally with deference in the interaction. Inquiring about letters, Mohan's focus shifts to matters at the palace, seeking clarity from the soldier. The soldier reports on the lack of letters sent to Jingbai since the previous month, highlighting a budding issue. Kneeling, the soldier offers to recheck for any missed letters, showing commitment to find answers for Mohan. Mohan commands a search among all practicing soldiers for the letter, stressing the importance and urgency. Contemplating alone, Mohan reflects on the lack of communication since last month, questioning the last letter's importance. Pondering her silence, Mohan considers whether she no longer remembers him, or if she's finding comfort elsewhere. Continuing his thoughts on her absence, Mohan unveils deeper concerns about her attentions being captured by others. His companion teases about the situation, claiming they hinted at this outcome previously, with a light-hearted demeanor. The scene begins with Mohan looking intently at someone, instructing them to go find something for him. A character with light hair responds nervously, agreeing to look as well, appearing anxious. Just outside, the light-haired character urges themselves not to rush, reassuring they will definitely find it. The light-haired character decides they will urge others to search as well, telling Mohan to rest first. The perspective shifts to Jingbai Cantonment site, where the environment is calm and scenic. Recruits nervously inform someone of high status that all veterans have been defeated, and there's no one left. The recruits explain that only new recruits remain who are inexperienced in fighting. One recruit suddenly remembers that they haven't cleaned their sword, and others follow suit, leaving hastily. The light-haired character wonders why everyone is running away so quickly, holding a fan and pondering the sudden exit. The character senses a cold gaze directed at them, feeling regret for possibly getting involved in someone's bad luck. The character explains trying to find a letter but failing, hoping the person won't hold it against them. Mohan declares the day's actions complete, leaving the situation hanging in the air. The light-haired character feels relief, realizing the lack of letters has affected someone deeply and wonders about their future reaction. Mohan is greeted by a hooded figure as Your Highness, setting a more serious tone. The hooded figure outlines their plan regarding money sent to Jizhou, which will arrive at the border that night, mentioning a trap has been set. The hooded figure is questioned about the certainty of this plan, confidently stating there's a high likelihood of success. Mohan is informed about a newly appointed general escorting the money from the capital, confirming the news with the hooded figure. The hooded figure recounts the tragic news of General Cheng's death, sharing the recent event. Mohan comments on General Cheng being a good man, expressing a hint of lament. Mohan reflects on the pity of Cheng's dedication and ultimate downfall, questioning the emperor's awareness and the effects of his past actions. Mohan elaborates on his efforts to empower new forces over the years and disparages the officials who failed their duties, including the young general's incompetence. He resolves that the conflict and debts caused by the emperor will eventually be repaid, indicating a strong personal vendetta. The next scene shifts to the imperial study, showcasing a serene interior and a young girl seated with an attendant nearby. The girl, identified as Kiki, is highlighted as 10 years old, dressed in formal attire. Yuna Zhao addresses Kiki, surprised to see her presence and questioning her visit. Kiki greets Yuna Zhao and inquires about her father's court session, showing familial concern. Yuna Zhao advises Kiki against visiting her father, explaining that His Majesty is very angry today. He whispers to Kiki about an incident involving robbery at the border concerning Jizhao's relief funds, expanding on the tension. The emperor responds angrily to the news of embezzled relief funds and ensuing riots, questioning the outcomes after the busy days. Minister of War Zhang Yume remarks on the necessity of properly managing the people's hearts, as violent suppression only fuels unrest, advocating for a more practical resolution. In a formal setting, an official outlines the urgent need to redistribute relief funds to prevent worsening conditions. Another official disagrees and presents a counterpoint. Chen Kongjian, a minister of revenue, argues that repeated distribution of relief funds fails to address the root causes of the country's current struggles, including famine. The official highlights the financial burdens from necessary repairs and questions the source of additional funds for relief efforts. The financial strain is evident. Another officer suggests halting army wages to redirect funds to Jizhou, presenting a controversial idea amidst the debate. A voice acknowledges the merit in Chen's plan, but skepticism remains among the officials, questioning the feasibility of the proposal. An official dismisses the suggestion, implying that soldiers need wages to support their families and should not bear the financial burden. Chen responds defensively, insisting that soldiers would prioritize national issues without needing a reminder of their responsibilities. A counterargument suggests that if officials had to work without pay, their motivation might wane, highlighting the challenge of expecting sacrifice without compensation. The discussion shifts as attention turns to the disappearance of relief funds, suggesting a conspiracy behind the issue. The official addresses the significance of the matter to the Majesty. The relief funds vanish at specific checkpoints, prompting a call for a thorough inspection of border counties and their vehicles. An official voices dissatisfaction with the current plan, questioning how the people's unrest will be managed during the investigation. Another official urges caution, warning against careless comments that could harm his reputation. With the treasury depleted and debate over relief, a character questions if there are alternatives to the current approach. A delicate hand raises, offering a potential solution with a weak yet determined voice, hinting at a new course of action. The central figure calls T-Key over, signaling the start of a new plan to address the dire situation they face. The individual acknowledges Key's proposed solution to the difficulty, inviting her to share her insight with the group. Kiki expresses her appreciation for the officials' loyalty and willingness to aid the nation during its crisis, recognizing their efforts. Another official confirms Kiki's statement, agreeing with the sentiment that the seventh princess is correct in her observations. Kiki suggests that if each official could contribute financially, the relief funds could be replenished, even proposing a specific contribution amount. She points out that recent salary increases could allow for such contributions, suggesting that personal sacrifice could lead to national gain. The central figure praises the ingeniousness of Kiki's idea, attributing her wisdom to familial influence and education. A minister stands, ready to contribute a significant amount to aid Ji Chao, demonstrating personal commitment to the cause. Another official raises his offer, even at personal cost, determined to support the relief efforts despite potential financial ruin. The central figure solicits contributions from others, encouraging further support from loyal ministers to address the crisis. Various officials announce their pledges, ranging from thousands to tens of thousands, showcasing their collective commitment. The leader praises Di Shun specifically for his impressive offer, reinforcing the satisfaction with the gathered support. Strategic instructions are given to record and investigate large contributors, ensuring transparency and accountability in using the funds. An intense reaction follows the revelation of mishandling finances, questioning past decisions regarding salaries. In a quieter moment, the central figure queries Kiki about her absence from the academy, learning she was given a day off. The leader gently comments on her hairstyle, adding a personal touch to the conversation, balancing the prior tension with warmth. Kiki talks about how her sister styled her hair with osmanthus oil, adding a special touch to it. Kiki enthusiastically explains the steps her sister took to style her hair, demonstrating each motion. Kiki notices her father's unusual smile and wonders if he is happy today, commenting on his rare cheerful demeanor. She relates her father's mood to the minister's expression after leaving, noting that they looked miserable, implying it affects his mood. Kiki says when her father is happy, others are happier, playfully recalling an official who was so excited that he tripped in his eagerness. Her father praises Kiki's observant nature of court affairs and suddenly changes the topic, asking how she did in a recent exam. Kiki admits that she placed second best in the exam. She resolves to achieve the best result next time, showing her determination. Her father questions what will happen if she doesn't do well next time. Kiki insists she will try harder if she fails again, showing persistence. Her father acknowledges her youth and recalls his promise to grant her a wish if she achieves second best. He asks Kiki what she wants as her reward. Kiki expresses her concern about her father's changed demeanor as he stopped smiling and lost weight over time. He admits she seems less lively recently and offers to fulfill whatever she desires. Kiki reveals her wish is to visit elsewhere, walking alongside her father. She specifically states she wants to go to Jingbai. Kiki acknowledges that the imperial city is pleasant but suggests there is a reason for her wish. Her father questions whether something is amiss at the palace, hinting at discomfort. Kiki reassures him it's not dissatisfaction, but a desire to see the world outside the palace now that she's grown. Her father contemplates the situation with concern. He addresses Di Shun, who responds promptly to his call. He inquires about the confiscation of embezzled assets, showing he is attending to administrative duties. He asks about Concert De's health, revealing another concern on his mind. Di Shun reports that Concert De's health is improving, thanks to the sixth prince's visit. Di Shun is about to ask if the sixth prince should return, when Kiki's father changes the subject, mentioning his daughter's maturity. Di Shun is visibly confused by the sudden change in conversation. Kiki's father decides not to recall the sixth prince, allowing him to stay to care for Concert De. Di Shun suggests reconsideration, citing the unstable situation in Jingbai. Kiki's father assures protection for her, promising to send capable guards. He expresses his internal conflict about letting his daughter go as he turns away from the conversation. Mo Xuan reflects on his relationship with his daughter, feeling conflicted about letting her go while acknowledging that not respecting her independence might push her away further. A servant reassures Mo Xuan, expressing admiration for his kind heart and confidence that the seventh princess will understand his efforts. The scene shifts to Jingbai, marked by the passing of 5 days as cherry blossoms dance in the rain. Imo advises the party to be cautious upon entering Jingbai territory due to the presence of bandits and refugees, requesting them to turn back. Sissy shows reluctance, expressing that it is difficult for her to follow the request. Sissy considers the difficulty of reaching Jingbai and questions the reason behind her escort's insistence, wondering about the motives of the great Tyrant. She muses over the challenges of finding Brother Liu and laments the missed opportunities to enjoy the marketplace. Time moves on as the rain continues, and a grand building stands in the backdrop. Cece is informed that the governor is attending to urgent matters and requests her to wait at a tavern for dinner. Cece is taken aback by this unexpected freedom to have dinner while pondering its implications. A servant explains Jingbai's culinary fame, especially Bojiu cuisine, and suggests clams are in season. Sissy follows the servant willingly to a prepared private room, acknowledging his courteous invitation. Qin Zishu humorously suggests to his companion that the elegant lady he sees might be his type. His companion reprimands him for his rudeness and the inappropriateness of his comments. They continue their conversation, with Qin Zishu acknowledging the woman's charm, but lamenting he couldn't see her face. He playfully contrasts with his friend's celibacy. Qin Zishu shifts the conversation to a serious topic, asking about the plans concerning the escapees from the previous night. His friend, taking a sip, responds simply that they are already dead, leaving the outcome clear. Qin Zishu muses about court officials being sent to Jingbai on a secret investigation, hinting at a missing government funds case. His friend indirectly acknowledges their resourcefulness and implies a hidden capability to navigate such situations. Qin Zishu denies having a specific plan but hints that there may be opportunities to creatively alter the circumstances. A disturbance outside highlights a conflict where someone dares to steal money in broad daylight, while the other demands their surrender. Qin Zishu observes the commotion involving a young lady getting robbed, viewing it through a window. His friend is indifferent, noting that the area is lively and implying that it is not their concern. A sense of urgency fills the air as cries to protect the princess echo, drawing attention to Sissy at the center. Qin Zishu questions his friend over the sudden drop of a cup, a seemingly startled reaction to the chaos below. He probes further, asking Qin Zishu what he meant earlier about adding color to the situation, seeking clarity. Qin Zishu, surprised by something unspoken, reacts with a start, prompting concern from his companion. Sissy is in distress, seemingly confused as she questions the intentions of those around her, finding herself called a bride child. Imo condescendingly challenges Sissy, advising her to consider her situation carefully, with a hint of menace. Sissy, grappling with the situation, timidly questions Imo, clarifying if he is truly a villain, her uncertainty evident. Imoxuan leans over Yi-Tin, pondering if he appears as a bad person to her. Yi-Tin seems apprehensive, unsure of his intentions. Yi-Tin declares with determination that she will become his child bride, not fully understanding the weight of her words. Yi-Tin assesses that Imoxuan is quite handsome, convincing herself that there's no loss in becoming his child bride. Yi-Tin raises her hand, stating that she has 3 conditions for becoming his bride, with a confident air. The first condition is depicted with a playful visual of cartoonish characters. She insists she must remain his only child bride and not be given to other bandits. The second condition shows another cartoonish scene. Yi-Tin humorously demands to be fed meat every day to avoid hunger. In the third condition, another comical illustration shows Yi-Tin explaining she isn't of marriageable age yet, so he must raise her first. Imoxuan, amused, points out the irony of her making conditions so soon after they've just met, questioning her comfort in doing so. Yi-Tin confidently tells him that if he agrees to her terms, she will ascend the mountain with him and become his wife there. Imoxuan acknowledges the pertinency of her conditions, contemplating them with a smirk. However, Imoxuan reveals that he accepts none of her conditions, leaving Yi-Tin surprised. Imoxuan taunts Yi-Tin, questioning if she would still accept the proposal if someone else offered with agreeable conditions. Yi-Tin is taken aback, recognizing his eyes and feeling a familiarity she cannot quite place. Yi-Tin reflects internally, thinking that as a kidnapped child, she has no real choice in these matters, feeling compelled by circumstances. Imoxuan challenges the notion that she can't make her own choices, pressing who dictates her obedience besides him. Meanwhile, a group of guards demands the release of the princess, interrupting their conversation and creating tension. Imoxuan dismisses the guards' demands with a simple sound of annoyance and directs Yi-Tin to stay put while he handles them. Preparing to confront the guards, Imoxuan instructs them to cease their interference, showing his lack of time for distractions. Yi-Tin internally scoffs at the idea of waiting for him, deeming it foolish, and considers her next move. Despite admiring his looks, Yi-Tin decides she does not wish to conform to the role of a child bride and makes a quick departure, imagining her farewell as a playful escape. Imoxuan, now depicted with animal ears for a humorous effect, questions Yi-Tin's lack of obedience as she hides, pondering how she was caught so swiftly. Imoxuan catches up to Yi-Tin, questioning her about where she had run off to, asserting his presence behind her. Imoxuan covers Yi-Tin's mouth, urging her to silence, reinforcing his dominance and control over the situation. E-Tin is frustrated by Lee Mak-swan's heartlessness, feeling trapped by his actions and unable to express herself. E-Tin warns Lee Mak-swan to release her, emphasizing her important status as the emperor's favored, suggesting consequences if harm befalls her. Lee Mak-swan acknowledges her cleverness, noting her understanding of using her status as leverage against him. Lee Mak-swan, unfazed, tells her that bandits like himself are used to resistance from their prey, particularly on this day. E-Tin suddenly feels sleepy, confused by the abrupt onset of drowsiness, while Lee Mak-swan remains close. Lee Mak-swan uses on E-Tin's naivety, noting how unlikely it is for any real bandit to listen to her demands for so long as he carries her. E-Tin regains consciousness, realizing she was drugged, reflecting on her capture and current location, lying in an unfamiliar room. Dabai observes his surroundings with caution, holding a needle in hand, while Sissy lies nearby, appearing startled and reflective of the precarious situation. Sissy thinks about her best option for escape while making sure she is not yet discovered by Dabai. Sissy tries to quietly crawl away from the scene, hoping to make her escape before Dabai notices her departure. Suddenly feeling dizzy, Sissy blames the anesthetic and wishes to rest a little due to its strong effects. Now lying down, Sissy wonders why it's so quiet, questioning if Dabai has left. She lies still, contemplating her next move. Dabai approaches Sissy, surprising her with a question about what she wants, as autumn leaves drift outside the window. Dabai, holding a necklace, suggests that it's time to stop pretending, as he suspects Sissy's act. Dabai demands Sissy return his shirt, illustrating the nature of their acquaintance. Sissy expresses concern over their lack of communication over 2 months, relieved to see Dabai unharmed, yet curious about his well-being. Sissy voices her suspicion about Dabai's intentions, probing whether he desires money. Sissy offers a solution. Her wealthy sixth brother could provide the money if Dabai helps her reach him. Dabai reacts with curiosity about Sissy's claim of her brother's wealth, pointing out a lack of awareness of his own alleged riches. Sissy confidently asserts her brother's fondness for her, insisting he bestows money generously because of his affection. Dabai inquires further into the sincerity of Sissy's claims regarding her brother's affections. Sissy reassures Dabai of her brother's dedication despite their long separation, certain of his willingness to pay a ransom. Sissy claims that only her sixth brother treats her well, showing deep trust in his devotion, which she explains with heartfelt sincerity. Dabai, changing moods quickly, becomes irritated by Sissy's persistence, leaving her to wonder why he was upset after having seemed agreeable. Dabai questions the believability of Sissy's assertion that her brother likes her but has not written for 3 years. Sissy defends her brother's absence, attributing it to his busy life, especially caring for their mother. A sudden realization hits Sissy, propelling her into a swift reassessment of the ongoing discourse. Dabai challenges Sissy's logic by questioning how she knows details about their communication gap. Sissy, caught off guard, is reminded by Dabai of her prior inconsistent statements. Annoyed, Dabai highlights Sissy's contradictory story, referring to her as having a big mouth. Sissy ponders Dabai's unpredictable temperament, finding his frequent anger challenging to handle. Dabai surprises Sissy with an unexpected question about her hunger, shifting the topic suddenly. Dabai offers Sissy food, suggesting she sustains herself after the eventful discussion. Sissy, holding the food package, insists that she is not hungry despite the offering. Sissy internally debates the safety of the food, worried it might be poisoned, given previous experiences. Dabai mentions hearing Sissy's growling stomach and urges her to eat to alleviate her hunger. Stubbornly, Sissy refuses to eat, asserting her unwillingness to accept Dabai's offer. Lee Mak-swan holds a peach blossom cake, recalling it used to be someone's favorite, and wonders why they no longer enjoy it. Lee Mak-swan reflects that after 3 years apart, it's normal for taste to change. E-Tin, clutching her stomach, feels betrayed by its untimely grumble, embarrassed in front of Lee Mak-swan. Lee Mak-swan, resolute, tells E-Tin that they will feed her if she refuses to eat. E-Tin considers that there's no escaping today, sensing Lee Mak-swan's care, and plans to use a special move. E-Tin pleads with Lee Mak-swan, referring to him as Big Brother, and asks to be released. Lee Mak-swan soothes E-Tin with a gentle pat, telling her to go home. Lee Mak-swan questions where home is for a princess like E-Tin, bringing up the palace. E-Tin looks at Lee Mak-swan with surprise as he tells her to go to Luck Brother, asking why. E-Tin states simply that Luck Brother is safe and peaceful, gazing outside. Lee Mak-swan acknowledges E-Tin's view, considering her words. As Mokshin ties Tin's hair, he reflects on her trust and describes how she turns her back without fear. Mokshin instructs Tin not to move while he ties her hair. Outside, guards discuss the princess being inside and plan to save her from an apparent threat. Mokshin gently questions Tin if she is crying, offering his attention. Mokshin asks Tin to stop crying, standing above her reassuringly. Mokshin grips Tin's hand, asserting it's time to proceed. Mokshin declares he has to go, speaking closely to Tin. Mokshin reminds Tin of her promise to be his camp wife as he departs. A new character appears, apologizing to Tin for the late rescue, asking for her forgiveness. The new character commands an arrest, but Tin defends Mokshin, claiming he meant no harm. Tin notices Mokshin is gone, the scene quiet following his disappearance. A soldier is ordered to pursue Mokshin, responding affirmatively. The new character checks if Tin is hurt. She insists the bandit was gentle. Frustration arises as the new character argues showing mercy risks disasters for oneself. Tin agrees with understanding, politely addressing the new character as she explains. The new character is taken aback by Tin, calling them Aunt G, questioning it. Tin teases that if Mokshin is pursued again, she'll address the new character with any title. The new character reconsiders, telling others to cease pursuit and declaring no more talk of capturing. The new character asks Tin if she's satisfied with the situation, to which she responds affirmatively. Kiki reassures Mohan that she will control herself in public, promising to know her limits. Mohan contemplates Kiki's behavior, feeling that sometimes she seems much younger than her actual age. Kiki tells her big brother that she is hungry and wants to eat something. Mohan questions Kiki's sudden decision to act clueless at this point. Mohan recalls that he isn't interested in matters concerning women or children. Mohan warns Kiki to stop talking or he will leave her there, bringing an abrupt end to their conversation. Kiki agrees not to say anything further, trying to hold back her emotions. Mohan informs Kiki there's food in the carriage and mentions stopping by the nearest yamen before taking her to a safer place. Kiki is surprised to hear they are going to Liu Ji's place, expressing concern. Mohan assures Kiki that the Liu prince's residence is safer due to its guards and explains the current unsafe conditions elsewhere. Mohan tries to comfort Kiki by explaining that it's a temporary arrangement due to unrest in the city. Encouraging Kiki to hurry up, Mohan focuses on getting both of them moving quickly. Outside, guards question if the carriage belongs to the princess from the palace. Someone explains the princess has had a difficult journey involving an assassination attempt and needs rest. The caretakers assure that they will not neglect the princess in any way, ensuring her comfort. Tanyan and Ryu, introduced as the most capable maids, are selected to serve the key princess. It's emphasized that the two maids will carefully handle the princess's food and drink needs. The maids understand their responsibilities and assure their dedication to the task. As Kiki is gently encouraged to keep sleeping, the maids prepare to take her to her room. Someone requests to take responsibility for her, interjecting into the situation. Another character asks for Kiki to be handed over to them, indicating a shift in protection. Carrying Kiki in their arms, they declare they are home, addressing her warmly. The person asks Kiki to sleep well, placing her gently down to rest. A moment of reflection occurs as they think about the 3 years that have passed. The question arises in thought, pondering if Kiki still remembers them. Lingering memories of her face appear in dreams, expressing thoughts that must remain unsaid around her. Despite her young age, Yan Cheng struggles with the inappropriate ideas forming in his mind. His ambition and future goals conflict with his intrusive thoughts about Kiki. Expressing frustration, he reflects on his failure to eradicate challenging emotions long ago, leading to his current worries. Yan Cheng decides that when Kiki grows up and marries, perhaps he will finally cease thinking of her. A man named Mohan looks down at a girl, recalling that she is the daughter of his enemy and reminds himself she is untouchable. Mohan reflects on not wanting to see the girl given to someone else, despite acknowledging the problematic ties. Determination fills Mohan's thoughts as he resolves to make her father repay his debts and promises not to involve others. Mohan silently vows to protect the girl, seeking a lifetime of peace for her. The girl, feeling groggy, asks a Wanjiji for water as she wakes up. Observing the man in the room, the girl queries about his identity, not recognizing Mohan right away. Realization dawns on her that she is in Jingbai, specifically in Liu Ji's bedroom. Mohan confirms her suspicions with his familiar voice while handing her a drink. Overcome with emotion, the girl leaps into Mohan's arms, relieved to finally see him. She expresses her longing to finally see Mohan after a long time apart. She questions Mohan about whether he missed her during the 3 years they were separated. Mohan admits that he did miss her, feeling emotionally moved by her question. Mohan begins to doubt himself, feeling tormented and confused by his emotions. Holding Mohan's face, the girl accuses him of lying about why he didn't write back to her. Mohan contemplates how he replied to all her letters, but never actually sent them. A letter addressed to Kiki sits unfinished, filled with unsent heartfelt words. Despite writing many letters, Mohan never sent any of his affectionate words to her. Understanding the unpredictability of his life, he refrains from making promises to her. Mohan accepts that the yearning may be futile but struggles with his feelings. Frustrated, Kiki demands to know if Mohan is paying attention to her or not. Mohan assures her that he is listening, trying to regain his focus. Annoyed, Kiki tells him to stop holding her, expressing her anger. Mohan is determined not to let go despite her protest. He apologizes, admitting to being lost in thought and taking the blame. Kiki questions her ability to confront Mohan now that he's taken responsibility so quickly. She understands that his mother's illness distracts him, making it hard for him to focus on her. Mohan reassures her that she is not irrational and knows her priorities. He insists that she remains important to him, despite everything. Kiki, feeling embarrassed, requests to be let down due to her fear of heights. Transitioning the mood, she then states her hunger, shifting the conversation. Mohan has prepared all of Dusty's favorite dishes for the evening, showcasing a considerate gesture. Dusty is surprised and touched that Mohan remembers all of her favorite desserts. Mohan reflects on how Dusty has grown elegant and beautiful, resembling the true princess she is. Mohan inquires about a recent incident with a bandit, ensuring Dusty was unharmed during the ordeal. Curiosity rises as Mohan asks Dusty for her opinion on someone's appearance, leaving her puzzled. Mohan excuses himself from the table, mentioning he has tasks to handle the next day. Dusty acknowledges Mohan's departure, agreeing to see him tomorrow. Dusty watches Mohan's hurried silhouette as he leaves, feeling a sense of familiarity. A cloaked figure invites Mohan for a drink under the starlit sky. Mohan politely declines the invitation, needing rest for the next day. The cloaked figure hints that Mohan's refusal is due to Dusty's presence. The figure comments on Dusty's significant influence over Mohan as he sips from a cup. He reveals that Dusty was ambushed at a tavern, laying blame on Ashu for the danger she faced. Assuring Mohan, the figure states he disciplined Ashu, asking for Mohan's forgiveness. Mohan is relieved that Dusty wasn't harmed during the incident. Acknowledging Ashu's recklessness, the figure mentions his well-meaning intentions. The logic behind Ashu's actions is explained. He thought an investigation was underway. The cloaked figure pleads for leniency on behalf of Ashu, hoping for Mohan's forgiveness this time. Mohan reveals his lack of anger, expressing disinterest in punishing Ashu further. Mohan warns against further reckless behavior, suggesting a severe consequence. Mohan instructs the figure to have Ashu meet him at the training grounds the next day. The figure realizes the severity of Mohan's decision, knowing the training grounds' implications. Understanding Mohan's command, the cloaked figure accepts the directive without question. The next morning dawns with cherry blossoms blooming under a clear sky. Dusty questions whether Liu Ji has returned from his duties at the training ground. Xianyan explains Liu Ji's responsibilities and her role to accompany Dusty for a walk. Dusty, with a carefree attitude, decides to take a walk by herself, dismissing Xianyan's offer. Xianyan smiles, expressing concern as the princess often gets lost, emphasizing her duty. Dusty feels slighted, realizing Mohan's lack of faith in her sense of direction. Confidently, Dusty reassures Xianyan of her familiarity with the surroundings, promising to return later. Cece walks through the Kingston garden, marveling at its vastness and beauty, her delicate shoes touching the stone path beneath her feet. She looks around, puzzled by her surroundings, and notices the door is locked and guarded by two watchful figures, questioning her location. A guard explains to Cece that Lady De's residence is off-limits without permission from His Highness, leaving her to wonder about this secluded place. Cece contemplates why Lady De resides in such a remote and hidden area, considering how difficult it is to find. Deciding to pay her respects to Liji's mother, Cece laments not bringing a gift but resolves to make it up next time, trusting Lady De's understanding nature. Cece asks the guards for a brief audience with Lady Day, reassuring them her visit will not take long, hoping for their consent. The guard expresses uncertainty, hesitant to comply with Cece's request, expressing the challenge of granting her access. Mohan quietly calls out to Cece, garnering her attention as she turns to acknowledge his presence. Kneeling in respect, the guard greets Mohan as the sixth prince, emphasizing the gravity of the moment. Mohan questions Cece about the reason for her visit, displaying a friendly curiosity in his demeanor. Cece reveals her intention to pay her respects to the virtuous consort now that she has this rare opportunity. Mohan instructs the guard to open the door, displaying authority as Cece stands dutifully by his side. Reassuringly, Mohan tells Cece that his presence ensures her access to the residence, leaving no place barred to them. As they enter, Cece is struck by the desolate and gloomy atmosphere, noting the absence of any servants. Cece wonders if the consort favors peace and simplicity, pondering if this is the reason for the palace's modesty. The siblings walk together through the quiet corridors, and Cece questions the eerie silence, comparing it to a prison. Mohan explains that their mother values tranquility, choosing to keep only a few close aides nearby. Mohan questions Cece's resolve to meet the consort, seeking to confirm her intentions in light of the situation. Cece affirms her desire to proceed, feeling committed now that she is already at the door, indicating her readiness. Suddenly, cries of a ghostly warning fill the air as an unseen voice shrieks about a suspected impostor, causing a commotion. Mohan gently reassures Cece, calming her immediate fear amidst the alarming outburst. Seeking clarity, Cece questions Mohan about the unfolding situation, her curiosity piqued by the strange events. Mohan informs Cece of the consort's loss of sanity, providing context for the unusual occurrences within the residence. He recounts the gradual decline in her mental state 3 years prior, emphasizing the ineffectiveness of royal physicians. Cece processes the revelation, realizing the impact of Mohan's presence on their mother's condition and her subsequent delirium. The distressed howl echoes again, imploring His Highness to bring peace and order to the escalating situation. Cece ponders the sorrow of a mother's sudden emotional breakdown upon seeing her beloved son. Mohan reflects on the inevitability of destiny's hardships, considering them not entirely negative. Observing the consort's decline, Cece resolves to refrain from questioning further, acknowledging the prince's burdens. Embracing Mohan, Cece offers comfort, vowing to support him henceforth, fostering hope for the consort's eventual recovery. Mohan asks Kiki if he can hug her for a while, expressing a quiet moment of vulnerability and connection between them. Kiki acknowledges the closeness they share since childhood, noting that traditional distance restrictions don't apply to them and recalling past events. Mohan reflects on his struggle with his feelings whenever he sees Kiki, feeling conflicted about his emotions. He worries that Kiki might one day learn the truth and hate or scorn him, contemplating the potential repercussions of his secrets. Mohan expresses his desire for Kiki to keep her promise to stay by his side, stating that's all he needs. Mohan inquires about the condition of his mother, showing concern and involvement in her well-being. A maid reports to Mohan that concubine De's illness has relapsed, causing disturbance, but she calmed after receiving her favorite dessert. Kiki notes that concubine De's illness might not be curable soon and addresses Mohan as sixth brother. Mohan asks if Kiki wants to see concubine De with the seventh princess, indicating a family discussion about their next steps. A maid warns that concubine De might react unfavorably to strangers due to her condition, potentially causing harm. Voices from inside are heard pleading and claiming that someone's child isn't who they claim to be, indicating inner turmoil. The maid explains that concubine De's episodes involve violent behavior, citing an incident where a maid was blinded. The maid advises waiting until concubine destabilizes before visiting, ensuring safety for everyone involved. Both Mohan and Kiki agree not to visit concubine De that day, ensuring they adhere to the maid's advice. Mohan instructs to feed concubine De her favorite desserts, ensure injured are treated and compensated, showing responsibility and leadership. The maid expresses gratitude and assures Mohan that they will do their best to follow his instructions. Kiki notices Mohan's relaxed demeanor despite deciding against visiting concubine De, questioning his change in attitude. A worried character, unfamiliar to the others, mentions the Prince of Li Miao and shows concern over Li Dedojiang. Kiki ponders about the woman claiming to be concubine De, feeling as though she had something important to relay, Mohan jovially questions Kiki's distraction, attempting to lighten the mood as he pats her on the head. Kiki dismisses her thoughts as she suddenly felt a chill, suggesting they return quickly. Kiki questions the situation surrounding Concubine Day, pondering about her state and feeling uneasy about the circumstances. Mohan tenderly ensures Kiki doesn't catch a cold, wrapping his cloak around her, demonstrating care and affection. Kiki reassures Mohan that she is no longer cold, appreciating the warmth and protection he provides. Kiki suddenly asks Mohan if they are still allies, prompting him to question her unexpected doubt. Kiki seeks reassurance about their alliance, wondering if she can still trust Mohan as before. Mohan acknowledges Kiki's maturity, recognizing her ability to question and probe thoughtfully. Mohan confirms they are allies, emphasizing his dual identity as both her brother and someone who seeks to be her ally. Kiki asks if Mohan will return to the capital once Concubine Day recovers, probing his future intentions. Mohan appears surprised at the suggestion of returning to the capital, leaving his future plans unclear. Mohan reflects on never considering a return to the capital city. He remembers his determination to face challenges alone since planning to go to Jingbai, and acknowledges someone important still resides in the capital. Mohan questions the appeal of the capital city, expressing preference to stay in Jingbai, away from the emperor's control. Saixai challenges him, asking about the people who care for him in the capital, and if he cares for them too. Mohan admits that he didn't just come to Jingbai to tend to the consort's illness and finds it hard to leave. He acknowledges it's too early to explain everything to Saixai, promising to share the full story in the future if successful. Saixai feels frustrated, noting Mohan keeps secrets and doesn't disclose everything to her. Mohan reassures Saixai, affirming that he will certainly return to the capital one day. He emphasizes the importance of his current mission, requesting more time in Jingbai. Saixai, feeling overwhelmed, tells him not to explain further as they walk together. Saixai resigns herself to knowing as little as possible as before. She questions how Mohan managed to come to Jingbai despite a clearly disapproving letter. Realizing he hasn't read the letter, Saixai responds with mild irritation. Mohan reacts anxiously upon mentioning the letter was lost. Saixai sarcastically lists countless reasons the letter could be lost, including theft and damage. She demands him to explain any other potential reasons for the loss. Mohan admits fault for this situation, clarifying it's no one's responsibility but his own. He sincerely acknowledges his wrongdoing. Mohan takes full responsibility for not reading or replying to the letters and missing important events. Saixai is surprised by his apology for past failures. Embraced Saixai assures Mohan she isn't angry at the moment, prompting a relief from him. Mohan tentatively asks if she's formed bonds with other princes over the years. Embracing each other, Saixai confirms they haven't. Agitated, Mohan questions if she let others hold her closely like this. Laughing, Saixai denies any such occurrence, inviting more questions. Growing suspicious, Mohan presses further, pondering if Ji Yao showed any affection. He continues by questioning if Jingxuan, known for his cunning nature, did anything concerning. Saixai exasperatedly insists on her innocence, warning she'll feel overwhelmed if he keeps probing. The next morning, Saixai yawns as she wakes up, signaling a new day beginning. In the Jing Xin Yuan room, a maid comments on the princess's stubborn hair as she helps with brushing. Kilai is reading from a book, discussing people with stubborn hair, linking it to a tough personality and hardships ahead. A maid, Mei, decides to fetch hot water and carefully brush the princess's hair. Li dismisses concerns about her hair, noting it's just a strand and people don't notice it anyway. Luca interrupts, telling Mei to leave the room. Mei reflects that despite Luca's cold demeanor, he looks at Princess Li with undeniable gentleness. Mei clutches a book, her youthful feelings reminding her of Mu Xiaoai, but also feeling confusion. She sighs, deciding that pondering such matters is futile, and she should just focus on her duties. Luca gently instructs Li not to move as he tends to her hair. Li feels a sense of familiarity, recalling how Luca's hair brushing resembles a past incident with a bandit. Li inquires how Luca became so proficient at braiding hair, wondering where he learned it. Luca responds that he has never formally learned the skill. He explains that due to frequently being alone and without servants, he had to learn to do things himself. The image of Luca practicing on a small doll amuses Li, sparking curiosity. Luca clarifies that he practiced braiding on his own hair, not hers, which makes Ki Lee laugh. Mai offers to take over the task, concerned about her duties, but Liu Kei insists she has other responsibilities. Liu Kei instructs Mai to call for breakfast instead, indicating he has everything else under control. Mai feels she has overstepped in speaking too much, showing a surprised expression as she acknowledges her mistake. Ki Lee sits at the table with Liu Ka, commenting on his plans to train the soldiers that day. Liu Ka teases, asking if Ki Lee doesn't like him being there instead of training. Ki Lee reassures him, explaining she heard Qin Ji Shu mention Liu Ka's occasional visits to drink flower wine. Ki Lee playfully inquires if Liu Kei is skipping his usual visit that day. Liu Ka, taken aback, questions her knowledge of flower wine and mentions Qin Ji Shu. Ki Lee giggles, considering if drinking flower wine parallels stories in books about Gu Lan Yuan. She admits to tricking Liu Ka, enjoying his attempt to explain. Liu Ka struggles but starts to explain his visits, implying they are not for leisure. He clarifies seriously that he visits to gather intelligence at Gu Lan Yuan, urging not to misinterpret. Ki Lee cheekily responds, pretending to accept his explanation of exchanging information. Liu Kei emphasizes his limited interaction, insisting it's just verbal exchanges. He asserts his honesty, claiming everything he said is true. Ki Lee humorously echoes his claim, feigning belief. Ki suggests going to a meal as she walks beside a figure in blue attire, expressing a cheerful thought. Standing outside, Ki listens to Mohan's questioning of her decision to go to a certain place. Ki explains the reason for going to eat, pointing out that Liu Ka has specific preferences for food, implying a choice made despite its quality. Mohan, with serious intent, tells Ki about a place known for romance and complexity, hinting at its hidden secrets. As Mohan and Ki converse closely, he details the challenges of going there and his infrequent visits due to its inconvenient nature for her. Ki quietly ponders the word romantic, seemingly lost in thought. Dreamily, Ki reflects on the beauty and allure of a place referencing mountains and rivers, questioning why she cannot visit. Mohan questions Ki, seeking to understand whether she truly grasps the meaning of romance. Recognizing Ki's innocence, Mohan acknowledges her ability to speak such touching words despite naivety. Mohan promises Ki that he will take her to eat if given the chance, offering reassurance. Ki appreciates the firmness of Mohan's words, noting their reliability. Mohan reflects on a gift he prepared, originally intended for Ki's 10th birthday. Ki, with curiosity, inquires about the nature of the gift Mohan mentioned. As Ki inspects the gift, she guesses its identity, contemplating its possible forms. Ki realizes the gift is a dagger, reacting with surprise. Mohan questions Ki about her satisfaction with the gift, seeking affirmation. Ki expresses her liking for the gift, appreciating its special nature. Mohan feels relieved and pleased by Ki's appreciation for the gift. In another setting, someone remarks on the unusual nature of the gift, pondering typical choices like hairpins. Another voice comments on the impracticality of a dagger for a girl, doubting her ability to use it. Mohan, alone, hopes that the dagger will serve as protection for Ki in his absence. Ki admires the carvings on the dagger, speculating on Mohan's craftsmanship. Mohan modestly downplays his effort in carving the dagger, suggesting it was done casually. Ki, now with bunny ears, asks Mohan if he can carve some words on the dagger. Ki cheekily requests her name, Ki, to be carved instead. Ki adds that she also wants Mohan's name, Yi Ting Cheng, to be carved along with hers. Mohan reacts with surprise upon hearing Ki mention his full name, Yi Ting Cheng. Ki stands nearby as Mohan contemplates the significance of Yi Ting Cheng and what he represents to her. Ki notices Mohan's hand bleeding, expressing concern for his well-being. Mohan dismisses the need to carve his name, expressing relief at not dealing with it any longer. Ki is concerned and asks why Mohan was so careless, noting it must hurt a lot. Mohan responds that it's just a small wound and his recovery ability is still effective. Ki acknowledges Mohan's special physique and recovery ability, questioning if he feels pain or is unaffected by typical human conditions. Mohan observes Kiki's reaction, recalling how she used to be worried about others getting hurt. Ki checks if the bleeding has stopped and asks if it still hurts. Mohan softly replies no. Mohan admits the wound hurts a lot, surprising Ki. Kiki offers to blow on the wound to help Imo-han feel better, and he agrees. Kiki gently blows on Imo-han's bandaged hand, hoping to soothe the pain. Imo-han humorously questions Kiki about talking to his hand, leaving both in a light-hearted pause. Kiki inquires how Imo-han plans to teach dagger skills with his hand bandaged, raising her concerns. Kiki suggests postponing learning for the day and encourages Imo-han to rest and recover. Imo-han proposes checking if Men-fang has prepared the horses, hinting at a change of plans. Men-fang assures them that Tian-li-ma is ready, confirming the readiness for travel. Kiki, curious, asks if they are planning to go somewhere. Imo-han expresses his intent to take Kiki to a special place, making it a secret. Kiki agrees enthusiastically, emphasizing the urgency of the matter. Imo-han wonders why Kiki doesn't ask where they are headed, prompting introspection. Kiki trusts Imo-han fully, showing contentment as they walk together, unconcerned about the destination. Imo-han reflects on Kiki's trust over the years, contemplating the impact of revealing his true identity someday. A picturesque scene unfolds in the peach blossom forest on the outskirts of town, introducing a serene setting. Imo-han shares how he visits the peach blossom forest to relax when he feels unhappy or encounters unpleasant things. Kiki admires the fully bloomed peach blossoms, appreciating the beauty of the season and landscape. Imo-han elaborates on the beauty of the blooming and falling flowers, observing the charm even in bare branches. The seasonal scenery offers Imo-han solace, a sentiment Kiki understands and shares. Kiki, now feeling hungry, inquires if they brought any food, emphasizing her desire to eat. Imo-han anticipated Kiki's hunger, confirming he came prepared for their outing. Kiki is surprised at the prospect of a wonton shop being nearby, exclaiming her disbelief. An old lady recognizes Imo-han as a regular and offers him his usual order, hinting at his frequent visits. Imo-han confirms the order of 2 bowls, continuing their customary dining experience. Kiki reflects on Imo-han's regular visits, pondering whether he has many worries to relieve through these outings. The young woman whispers, questioning Liu Ji about an old man's difficulties with mobility, wondering if it's due to poor health. Liu Ji responds, explaining that the man became completely blind after suffering from an eye disease a few years ago. Observing a loving couple, the young woman reflects on how joyful they look as if untouched by hardship. Liu Ji acknowledges her observation, noting that having someone by your side can make pain feel lighter. The young woman speculates that Liu Ji visits the couple to relieve stress because he doesn't have companionship. Liu Ji reassures her that his troubles stem from military camp issues and lack of companions, but nothing serious. The young woman sees a bowl of wontons, admiring their skillful wrapping and abundant filling. Liu Ji reflects on how having someone to accompany you feels good, while the young woman ponders silently. An old woman praises the young woman's discerning taste, explaining their wontons are wrapped in the morning and eaten later. She continues, sharing that they make a limited number of bowls a day at Peach Blossom Mountain due to their age. The young woman feels fortunate for the opportunity to enjoy the couple's cooking today. The elderly woman speaks about fate, mentioning the young pair's visit to the mountain as destiny. Liu Ji wonders if fate has prevented him from letting go for 3 years, considering the possibility. The young woman reflects on their sibling bond, acknowledging the difficulty in severing their connection. Liu Ji asks if she's full. She confirms, satisfied with the meal. He suggests continuing their hike, promising the most beautiful scenery at the mountaintop during sunset. The old woman recounts her son's return from the battlefield, noting the lack of a charge for the food. Liu Ji observes the absence of visitors at Peach Blossom Mountain, questioning its profitability. He explains that the high and dangerous roads deter visitors, thus foot traffic is non-existent. Liu Ji reveals the couple's son died in his army, vowing they remain unaware of his demise. In a flashback, the son requests burial at Peach Blossom Mountain, overlooking his parents' cottage. The son urges Liu Ji not to reveal his death, believing his parents will wait for him if unaware. Liu Ji tasks someone with finding ways for the couple to set up a stand, considering their skills. A confidant reports on the couple's vigor and their talent for making delicious wontons. The old couple serves food as patrons commend their culinary skills. The elderly woman, unknowingly, speaks of her son's anticipated return, hinting at a family reunion. Liu Ji devises a plan to send soldiers to frequent the stall, ensuring it thrives financially. A companion questions Liu Ji's motive for such generosity. Liu Ji muses that having a memory to hold on to justifies the wait even for 3 years. The young woman admires Liu Ji's hidden kindness, contrasting his often cold demeanor. Standing beneath a flowering tree, Yi Mokshin listens to Yi Ting happily announce her reason for visiting: their 6th brother's upcoming birthday celebration. Yi Mokshin, seated on a horse, acknowledges Yi Ting's statement, asking if she truly remembered the date. Yi Ting confidently confirms that she remembers the birthday on June 16th. Yi Mokshin reflects on the date, June 16th, acknowledging it. He muses that the date Yi Ting mentioned belongs to Yi Ting Shen, while his birthday is actually the day before. Yi Mokshin dismisses the concern over birthdays, downplaying their importance to Yi Ting. Yi Ting notices something amiss and questions Yi Mokshin about it. Yi Mokshin asks Qi to stay put, and wants Yi Ting to wait for him while he briefly leaves. Covering Yi Ting's eyes, Yi Mokshin instructs her to count to 30 as he plans to return shortly. Meanwhile, in another part of the forest, a subordinate informs his boss that Yi Mokshin and Yi Ting are no longer visible. The boss scolds his partner for calling him a demon, highlighting their inexperience in robbery. Admitting their mutual fear, the boss demands action from the subordinate as both are scared. The subordinate reassures the boss with a promise of protection, despite their shared anxiety. The boss grows impatient and prompts the subordinate to tie up their targets quickly. The 2 bandits listen intently, questioning if they truly heard something unusual. Both bandits are startled, contemplating if the sound was from a ghost. Terrified, the boss demands to know if the presence near them is human or demon. Frightened, the shorter bandit asks for a pause to change clothes, while promising loyalty. Yi Mokshin quietly observes the situation, identifying the bandit they've encountered. The bandits plead for mercy from Yi Mokshin and Yi Ting, claiming it to be their first wrongdoing. Yi Ting reflects on previous encounters in the area, confirming her first meeting with the person there. Yi Mokshin muses over the bandit, finding the entire encounter rather interesting. He leaves the decision up to Yi Ting, asking how she wishes to handle the situation with the bandits. Yi Ting recalls a past link with the bandits' leader, deciding to spare them as a gesture of goodwill. Yi Mokshin questions Yi Ting's decision to spare the bandits in return for past kindness. Yi Mokshin swiftly cuts the ropes, signaling the bandits to leave. The bandits express immense relief, grateful for their unexpected freedom. They offer to connect with their master in Shi Erzhai, hoping to repay Yi Ting's mercy somehow. Yi Mokshin, slightly annoyed, tells them to leave, while Yi Ting looks on with curiosity. Yi Ting questions her brother's choice to dismiss the bandits so abruptly. A young woman contemplates a recent encounter, pondering about the identity of a mysterious boss she hasn't yet identified. A man dressed in dark clothing questions why she needs to find someone, expressing skepticism about her motives for doing so. She replies, explaining her intention to express gratitude, seemingly deep in thought as she speaks. Reflecting on her insistence, she wonders why she's so eager to meet the bandit again, likening her urge to something inexplicable. In a playful exchange, he inquires about her impression of the bandit, prompting her to recall details she observed. She reminisces about the bandit, recalling his handsome appearance and the complexity of the situation they were in, noting his striking features. She describes him further, remarking on his refined demeanor, which contrasted with his bandit reputation. He is surprised at how much she remembers from a single meeting, hinting with mild disbelief. She responds, reminding him that he had been the one to ask for her recollection in the first place. The man suggests she follow the bandits to find the person she speaks so highly of, urging her to hurry up. As they walk, she struggles to keep pace, lamenting about the missing horse and asking for help due to her aching legs. He dismisses her request lightly, implying that her wish is impractical, possibly with a hint of amusement. Reaching a surprising location, she comments on the grandeur of the house atop a mountain, expressing her surprise at its existence. She asks if he visits often, to which he acknowledges, mentioning that he used to come alone in the past. He confirms his previous solitary visits, perhaps revealing a more personal side of his history with the place. They arrive at a spot he refers to as a secret hideout, indicating it's a place of retreat and safety. She suggests it's a special place known only to him, noting its usefulness when he needs to hide. She explains the uniqueness of the place, implying it can only be shared with someone special, indicating trust. He seems contemplative as he repeats her words, pondering the significance behind them. Concluding the day, he says they'll stay there for the night and descend the mountain the following morning. She points towards the bed, noting the limited space and the potential discomfort of sharing it. Internally, he acknowledges she's now an adult and considers how their relationship must evolve. He suggests she take the bed while he sleeps on the floor, ensuring her comfort over his own. She argues that since it's his place, she should be the one to sleep on the floor, sharing her reasoning. He declines, explaining the floor's discomfort due to its coldness, which she would find unbearable. Concerned about his well-being, she reminds him of the cold and his injury, implying she cares for him. A past burden is alluded to, giving insight into a struggle that left him feeling internally exhausted. He lightly chides her for talking too much, perhaps trying to change the atmosphere with a smile. He tells her to rest without further discussion, emphasizing quietness for a peaceful night. Reflecting on an inner void, the narrative describes the cold and dark atmosphere, symbolizing his emotional state. The man, Yi Mohan, wearing dark robes, gently tucks a blanket around the girl, Lizuki, who lies on a bed. He wishes her good night as they are bathed in soft evening light. Lizuki lies down, wrapped warmly with a sense of comfort, while her thoughts linger on the warmth felt in her heart. The image conveys a serene and intimate moment. Lizuki wakes up surprised in a sunny room, wearing her elegant robe. Her confusion is about why she didn't sleep on the bed where she was before. Yi Mohan, seated on the floor with an arm under Lizuki, remarks on the numbness of his arm. He appears slightly discomforted while holding her, indicating she had moved during sleep. Lizuki stands up, embarrassed, explaining her poor sleeping habits. She's visibly flustered as she tries to straighten her clothing in the well-lit room. Yi Mohan confirms last night as the time when she started moving in her sleep to find space, while adjusting his robe thoughtfully. Lizuki, with bunny ears on her head, questions if Yi Mohan managed to sleep. Her concern is shown through her worried demeanor. Yi Mohan, sitting while holding his knees, looks sideways at Lizuki. He seems bemused and leaves the thought of what she should think. Lizuki stands behind Yi Mohan, her hands resting on his shoulders, wondering why he didn't push her away if she had disrupted his rest all night. Yi Mohan comments on Lizuki's quick movement, saying he only adjusted slightly, and she immediately woke up afterward. Lizuki inquires about what Yi Mohan just mentioned, her expression suggesting she misheard or was unsure of his explanation. Yi Mohan changes the topic, instructing to prepare for descending the mountain, leaving behind any previous miscommunication. Lizuki, sitting on the floor, suggests that there is a temple nearby dedicated to the god of soil, pondering the idea of visiting it. Yi Mohan stands nearby as Lizuki recalls her promise to get a talisman for Sister San Juan, indicating a temple visit is on their agenda today. Lizuki claps her hands in joy while planning to pray at the temple and collect a talisman on their way down the mountain. While fixing Lizuki's hair, Yi Mohan questions the significance of the talisman, doubting that he would understand Sister's feelings regarding it. Yi Mohan dismisses the need to understand the backstory, revealing his disinterest in knowing more about Sister San Juan's tale. Lizuki confesses about a love charm linked to Ye Yun Chang and a past relationship she inadvertently disrupted, musing over her matchmaking difficulties. Yi Mohan suggests a plan to accomplish tasks, including handling military affairs after praying. They arrive at Jingtu Temple, depicted under the bright sky with tall trees surrounding the sacred place, their destination on this journey. Holding the acquired talisman, Lizuki joyously waves and announces they are completed with the task at the temple. Yi Mohan, standing beside Lizuki on stone steps, questions the number of talismans she collected as they prepare to lead together. Lizuki explains her approach to praying collectively for everyone with the talismans in hand, reflecting a hopeful view. Holding talismans for several people, she names each one intended for family members and friends, showing her attentiveness. Lizuki waves a few dismissively, listing the colors and designated recipients, while a hint of disappointment flashes in the air. With a surprised tone, she gives a talisman to Yi Mohan, revealing a gesture meant for him amidst their earlier misunderstandings. Yi Mohan holds the talisman, having initially thought Lizuki forgot to make one specially for him, showing his appreciation. Lizuki beckons Yi Mohan to hurry down the mountain, expressing her hunger and eagerness, urging him to join her quickly. Yi Mohan agrees to follow Lizuki, a hint of amusement in his demeanor as she rushes forward with enthusiasm. By midday, the pair leave Jingtu Temple's vicinity, continuing their journey outside its gates, en route to fulfill additional duties. A palace attendant informs the prince about a distinguished guest coming to the palace, showing signs of urgency and respect as he addresses the prince. The prince, wearing a blue robe, is approached by a young woman, Yi Tin, who questions him about the distinguished guest, appearing curious and engaged in the conversation. The scene shifts to a flashback, showcasing a happy moment between father and daughter. Tin, as a child, joyfully calls out for her father, expressing warmth and nostalgia. Back in the present, the father advises her to slow down to avoid falling, demonstrating his care and attention towards her. He embraces her, mentioning how he hasn't seen her for a few days and wonders why she doesn't want to come home sooner. This includes a heartfelt hug. Tin responds with affection, saying that in her heart she still misses her father, suggesting a deep emotional bond. Curious about his arrival, Tin eagerly asks him why he came to Jingbai and when he arrived, seeking answers. He explains he traveled all night, arriving early in the morning, and expresses mild surprise at her not being there upon his arrival. Recalling his thoughts, he expected to see her immediately, but learned from the housekeeper that she left with someone else, causing him to wait for a day and night. Tin, smiling, admits she didn't anticipate her father's sudden visit to Jingbai, showing her delight and surprise at the encounter. Tin shares her experience about visiting Taohua Mountain with brother Liu, noting how beautiful it was during the peach blossom season, expressing joy. Sissy arrives and greets her father with a polite salute, acknowledging his presence respectfully. Tin's father comments on how much brother Liu has grown over the past 3 years in Jingbai, observing noticeable changes. Brother Liu invites Tin to join, suggesting that her father must be tired after his long trip and extending courtesy. The father responds in disbelief to brother Liu's suggestion, questioning when he ever said he was tired, showing his stubbornness. Tin acknowledges and agrees with brother Liu, recognizing her father's travel fatigue and considering his needs. Brother Liu mentions preparations in his palace for the father's rest, suggesting he should rest first and attend to other matters later. Tin urges her father to rest quickly, showing concern for his well-being, while brother Liu holds her gently. Brother Liu reflects silently, contemplating whether the father came to Jingbai solely to see his daughter, revealing his inner thoughts. In a quiet moment, the father considers assassinating a tyrant to repay his blood debt, contemplating the opportunity presented in Jingbai. He deliberates the risks of taking action, acknowledging the lack of guarantees and potential repercussions, indicating careful planning. Brother Liu, concerned about exposing his true identity, fears it might involve her, showing his protective instincts. Tin queries brother Liu about his destination, curious about his sudden departure, showing her interest in his actions. Brother Liu responds, mentioning unresolved matters in the army that need his attention, indicating his sense of duty. Tin protests, pointing out her father's visit and brother Liu's sudden departure, expressing concern and confusion. Brother Liu dismissively questions what Tin expects him to do, showing frustration and reluctance to engage further. He insists his presence is unnecessary, deeming himself irrelevant since her father is there and preparing to leave. Tin ponders brother Liu's defensive behavior upon her father's arrival, sensing tension and unease between them. In quiet contemplation, brother Liu wonders how he can make Tin not hate him, showing his concern for their relationship. In a cheerful setting, Tin is in the kitchen with a servant, who suggests letting the servants handle the work, showing a moment of domestic normalcy. Sissy comforts someone by explaining that she occasionally cooks in the royal kitchen when she's at the palace and assures them she's familiar with the process and won't ruin anything. Tan expresses concern not about the cooking being ruined, but about the risk of injury while preparing the meal. Tan worries that if things go wrong, His Highness might use her failure as an excuse to use her as a meal while drinking, hinting at a joking fear. Sissy is surprised by the thought and asks if he has started eating people, to which Tan responds that it's just an exaggerated scenario. Sissy reassures Tian, telling her not to worry as she plans to do it only once. She questions what the special occasion is. Tian remembers something important as she continues the conversation with Sissy. Tian reflects on the butler's strict orders given that morning, which prohibited anyone from coming to the front hall unless they had business, suggesting the presence of a distinguished visitor. Sissy wonders if the visitor's arrival relates to her sudden decision to cook. Tian finds her observation smart. They both wonder about the identity of this important character, speculating that it might not be a high-ranking official. Chan argues that the person might not be a high-ranking official despite the steward's fuss, and believes they must be a significant guest. Sissy reveals that the distinguished guest is her father, catching Tian off guard with the revelation. Tian, shocked by Sissy's statement, asks her to repeat what she said. Sissy clarifies, explaining that while others refer to him as Your Majesty, She addresses him as father. Sissy enters a warmly lit room, holding a tray, and asks her father if he is still awake. Sissy approaches her father, who is resting, and remarks about his lack of appetite and the potential for him to starve due to not eating all day. Sissy observes her father's haggard appearance, noting the changes to his face after just a few days. Concluding that it's better to let him rest, she decides not to wake him, considering how exhausted he must be. Her father stirs awake, recognizing Sissy's presence and questioning if he is dreaming. Sissy assures her father that her presence in Jingbai is not a dream and he's truly seeing her. Her father reaches out to acknowledge her presence, relieved that it is genuinely her. He laments aging and expresses his fear of loneliness, asking Sissy to stay. Sissy reflects on her father's vulnerability, surprised by his fear of being alone. Sissy promises not to leave, deciding to stay with her father, revealing that despite his status, he has a tender side worried about his children leaving him as he ages. Sissy playfully remarks she is still young and relies on him for many more years, bringing a smile to her father's face. A scene outside a lit room transitions the narrative as a minister reports that he has followed the emperor's instructions. In another room, the minister informs the emperor that using acupuncture on Defei Nian's pulse shows concerning results. The emperor instructs the minister to explain the situation clearly. The minister clarifies that while Defei Nian's pulse is normal, the rhythm is unusual, unlike previous concerns of madness by Prince Liu. The emperor considers the possibility that Defei might be pretending to be mad and questions the minister. The minister hesitates, suggesting that the situation might not be a mere feigning of illness. Imohan stands, ready to listen and judge, as the advisor nods in agreement, acknowledging the conversation's gravity. Imohan listens carefully to the advisor's explanation about the symptoms of pathological madness affecting Defei Nian. The advisor notes the gentle pulse suggesting interference with medication, indicating a deeper conspiracy. Imohan concludes that Defei has been poisoned, maintaining her in madness, and receives praise for his insight. The advisor explains the poison's careful dosage, leaving Defei confused but otherwise unharmed, with unknown intentions. Imohan dismisses the advisor, indicating he has his own plans, and grants him leave. Imohan emphasizes discretion, ensuring no one else learns of this matter, as the advisor agrees to be discreet. Yitin enters, greeting Imohan as his father, signaling a respectful relationship. Imohan instructs Yitin to speak softly, underscoring the need for secrecy. Imohan inquires about Defei's condition, hoping for some improvement. Yitin responds to his father, standing at a respectful distance. Yitin reveals that Defei remains unchanged, maintaining the status quo of her condition. Imohan reflects on Yitin's delayed return due to Defei's illness, questioning any resentment for serving in Jingbai. Yitin shows acceptance, viewing life's challenges as heaven's gifts, and denies any resentment. Imohan questions Yitin's sincerity, pressing for honesty in his feelings. Yitin considers the opportunity to take action, noting the absence of bodyguards and weighing the risks. Yitin calculates a 30% chance of success if he chooses to strike, illustrating his internal conflict. Kiki enters, addressing Imohan as father and notifying him that everyone has gathered. Imohan reacts, wondering if their conversation disturbed Kiki's rest, and rises to address the situation. Kiki reassures them, noting it is morning and questions if they hadn't slept or woke up early. Imohan urgently instructs Kiki to put on her shoes, indicating urgency in the moment. Kiki admits her shoes are missing, probably under the bed, adding a light-hearted moment. Imohan calls for servants to fetch Kiki's shoes, but Yitin dismisses the need, taking charge. Yitin carries Kiki, deciding to take her back to her room, ensuring her comfort and propriety.